Imagine waking up, looking out your window and seeing the sun shining. Clear blue skies, brilliant light pouring across southern England. You think finally it'll warm up today. You check the thermometer, -9 degrees. You wait an hour, still -9. You wait until lunch, -9. The sun is blazing, but nothing is melting. Nothing is warming, nothing is changing. This was Monday, January 12th, 1987. The coldest day Britain has ever recorded. Not the coldest night, the coldest day. From sunrise to sunset, temperatures stayed below -8 across the entire country. Big Ben froze mid-chime. The sea turned to ice. Trains trapped passengers for 13 hours, and the sun, bright and brilliant, did absolutely nothing. This is what Britain's coldest day ever actually looked like. The morning started with hope. January 7th had brought Siberian air sweeping across Scandinavia, crashing into Britain like a frozen wall. People thought it would pass. A few cold days, maybe some disruption, then back to normal. But it didn't pass. It settled in and refused to move. By January 9th, temperatures were plummeting. Snow started falling across the southeast. Heavy snow, driven by vicious easterly winds that cut through every layer you wore. By January 11th, Kent, Essex, London, Surrey, all buried under 50 centimetres of snow. The North Downs recorded over 75 centimetres. That's 2.5 feet of snow in places that barely see 2 inches most winters. But it was what happened next that nobody expected. Monday, January 12th, 1987. You wake up and pull back the curtains. Sunshine. Brilliant, clear, beautiful sunshine. For a moment you feel relief. The cold snap is breaking. You step outside to fetch the milk. The cold hits you like a wall. Your lungs seize. Your eyes water instantly. This isn't normal cold. This is something different. At Waltingham in Surrey, the temperature at 9 a.m. reads -9.1 degrees Celsius. You think it'll warm up by midday. The sun climbs higher. 10 a.m. still -9. 11 a.m. -9. Noon arrives. The sun is directly overhead, shining as bright as summer. The thermometer hasn't moved, -9.1 degrees. From dawn to dusk, the temperature at Waltingham never rose above -9.1 degrees Celsius, not for a single minute. London recorded -8.3 all day. Much of the Midlands stayed between -6 and -8. The warmest spot on mainland Britain, the Butt of Lewis in Scotland, 0.1 degrees Celsius. Everywhere else, frozen solid. This was the coldest day of the entire 20th century, colder at midday than anything recorded during 1963's Big Freeze. The sun shone all day and did absolutely nothing. What does a day like that actually look like? You're standing in your kitchen, making tea, the kettle boils, you pour. Steam rises, but by the time you've added milk and walked to the living room, the tea is lukewarm. Your breath hangs in the air inside your own house. You can see it like you're standing outside. The windows aren't just frosted, they're covered in thick ice on the inside. Not delicate patterns you can scrape with a fingernail, solid ice you need a knife to chip away. The bathroom has ice on the mirror, ice on the tiles. In some homes, toilet water frozen solid. Taps frozen shut. You turn the handle, nothing. The pipes have given up. Outside looks like a postcard. Brilliant sunshine, blue sky, snow sparkling like diamonds. It's beautiful, deceptively, dangerously beautiful, because the moment you step out, reality hits. Your first breath sears your lungs. The air is so cold it feels sharp, like inhaling glass. Your nose hairs freeze instantly. Your eyes start watering, and those tears freeze on your cheeks. Within 30 seconds, your fingers go numb, even inside gloves. Every surface is ice. The pavement, the road, everything. People shuffle like penguins, terrified of falling. Cars sit buried under snow, frozen solid, engines that won't start. windows frozen shut from the outside, ice so thick on windscreens that scrapers just bounce off. The shops look strange, half-empty shelves, delivery lorries can't get through, bakeries have queues before dawn, people waiting in -9-degree cold just for bread. Petrol stations, empty. The city feels abandoned, usually bustling streets silent. The few people out move quickly, heads down, wrapped in every layer they own. And then there's the sea, Southend-on-Sea in Essex, Monday afternoon. People walk down to the shore and stop. They just stop and stare. The tide is coming in as slush, not water, slush. Thick, grey, frozen slush rolling onto the beach. Chunks of ice float in the waves, ice forming along the coastline in real time. You can hear it, a crackling, creaking sound as the sea freezes. By Tuesday morning, parts of the shoreline are solid ice. People are walking on it, standing on frozen sea. The English Channel hasn't frozen like this since 1963. Herne Bay in Kent reports the same thing. Fishing boats trapped in ice, seagulls standing on frozen waves, confused. And everyone who sees it thinks the same thing. This isn't Britain, this is somewhere else. In London, something historic happens. Big Ben stops, not from snow, from cold, pure brutal cold. The mechanism that's run through 2 world wars, through the Blitz, through everything, seizes up. The chiming hammer freezes mid-swing. The clock stops at 11:43 a.m. Engineers rush to fix it. They can't. The metal has contracted in the cold. Oil in the mechanisms has turned thick as syrup. Nothing moves, nothing works. For most of Monday, January 12th, Big Ben stands silent. The heart of London frozen. And if you're commuting, if you're trying to get home from work, you're about to experience something you'll never forget. Monday evening, 5 p.m. You leave your office in central London, heading home to Ashford in Kent. Normally 90 minutes, you board the train at Charing Cross. It pulls out slowly, very slowly, then it stops. You wait. 10 minutes, 20, it starts again, crawls forward, stops. 7 p.m. You should be home by now. The train inches forward. The heating isn't working properly. It's cold. 8 p.m. The train hasn't reached Orpington yet. That's only halfway. Frozen points, frozen signals, diesel turning to gel. 10 p.m. You're somewhere near Sevenoaks. People are sharing flasks of tea. Someone has sandwiches. They're rationing. You've been on this train for 5 hours. Midnight passes. The train is barely moving, starting and stopping. The cold is seeping in. You're wrapping newspapers around your legs for insulation. 2 a.m. Still not there. People are walking between carriages just to keep their blood moving. 4 a.m. Someone spots Ashford Station in the distance. But the train stops again. Frozen points. 6 a.m. Tuesday morning. 13 hours after you left London. The train finally pulls into Ashford. You stumble onto the platform. Your legs barely work. You left work Monday evening. You're arriving home Tuesday morning, and you're not alone. Thousands of commuters across the southeast are experiencing the same nightmare. At home, if you stayed home, life is a battle. Even houses with central heating can't cope. Families huddle in one room wearing 3 jumpers, thermal underwear, 2 pairs of socks, a hat. Inside your own house, you can see your breath in the kitchen. Getting out of bed requires planning. You lay your clothes under the covers overnight, pre-warming them. Your slippers under the blankets. The moment your feet hit the floor, the cold attacks. Some people dress entirely under the duvet. Water pipes burst across the country. You hear it first, a crack, then rushing water. Pipes splitting in the freeze, water flooding through ceilings, freezing as it flows. Taps stop working, toilets freeze, schools close because toilets don't function. Herne Bay Junior School stays shut for nearly a month. Coal deliveries stop, roads blocked. Families burn whatever they can find. Old newspapers, broken furniture, anything. The smell of coal smoke fills every street. But that smoke means heat. it means survival. Here's the thing that breaks people. The cold doesn't leave. January 13th brings more snow. That night, temperatures plunge to minus 23.3 degrees Celsius at Kibworth in Rutland. Scotland hits minus 16. Even Cornwall stays well below freezing, and the sun keeps shining, doing nothing. Then comes the darkness. January 14th onwards. Southern England sees 14 consecutive sunless days, 2 full weeks without seeing the sun. Thick clouds settle. Grey skies, frozen streets, no end in sight. The mental strain crushes people. You can cope with cold if you know it'll end. But 2 weeks of darkness on top of freezing temperatures? People stop going out unless absolutely necessary. Nobody's laughing, everyone's just tired. Supermarkets run low, panic buying empties shelves. Bread queues form before dawn. Petrol stations empty. The supply chain collapses. Farmers record minus 19 degrees. Livestock freeze in fields. The Isle of Sheppey is cut off completely. RAF helicopters fly in supplies. The Sun newspaper sends a helicopter to report. A local policeman commandeers it to airlift a woman in labour to hospital. She gives birth safely. Across Kent, people help each other. Strangers with four-wheel drives become heroes. Farmers open their homes to stranded motorists. Neighbours start sharing supplies. When the infrastructure collapses, community steps up. When everyone's freezing, you help or you suffer alone. Schools stay closed for weeks. Children sledging down Greenwich Park. Building snowmen that last until February. Walking on top of hedges and gates, 3 feet above ground level. But behind the fun, reality is harsh. Hospitals fill with hypothermia cases. Elderly people struggle. Doctors trudging through waist-deep snow, making house calls. Finally, on January 20th, the thaw begins. Temperatures creep above freezing. Snow starts melting. Roads reappear. Railways clear. And Britain, exhausted, battered, frostbitten, starts recovering. When milk arrives unfrozen for the first time in 2 weeks, people actually cheer. The 1987 cold spell lasted 2 weeks, but January 12th remains the record, the coldest day Britain has ever seen. The day temperatures stayed below -9 at midday, the day Big Ben froze, the day the sea turned to ice, the day the sun shone bright and did absolutely nothing. In the almost 40 years since, nothing has come close. Were you there that January? Do you remember the trains, the frozen sea, walking on top of snowdrifts? Drop a comment and share your story. And please subscribe to keep these memories alive.